Distinguished panelists and distinguished persons of the dais, immediately after 9/11, I had the fortune of going to the US, working with the FBI on certain aspects, just immediately after that. So that time, the internal security matters in the US was basically handled by a particular organization which was based inside FBI, that used to be called NIPC, National Infrastructure Protection Center. The that NIPC, which was housed in the FBI headquarters, had actually that time 29 members, chaired by a deputy director of the FBI. And it was created by a presidential directive, just like an ordinance, you can say, in Indian context, to ensure that all critical infrastructures are safe. And lo and behold, there were as many as 25 private corporations or players who were the members. Only three agencies of government were involved. Subsequently, after 9/11, they brought in two legislations. One is called the Homeland Security Act. The other one is called the Patriot Act. The Homeland Security Act is a federal act. It actually brought in most of the aspects of internal security together. Patriot Act, which many people here in India think that it is extremely draconian. And in the inaugural session, I heard also that everything can be actually peeped in. That was enacted, but trust me, there was no hue and cry in the press or in the forum and etc. Yes. Somebody asked me some time back that why after 9/11 there were no attacks in the US, and why India is still the most vulnerable, most suffering country as far as terrorism is concerned. It's very difficult to answer this question, because working in the field for quite some time, you can't say that because of these legislations they could save the country. To my mind, 2-3 things actually is very crucial to speak to you, because you here are developers are there, and IT, corporate policymakers are there. On this side, more government servants are there. First thing is that the Americans, what they did is they enforced whatever legislation was enacted or what was existing with least discretion. That is not happening in our country, unfortunately. If I go to the airport, if I am frisked, I feel offended. I can cite too many examples on this. The second thing what they did is that, which is very crucial for this meeting, is that the corporate sector came in a very big way to help the government. When the National Investigation Agency was created, I remember in March, when we started March 2009, when we started functioning, the chairman of Tata Group, Mr. Ratan Tata, met the National Security Advisor, and the National Security Advisor called us. Myself and my DG went, and he said that a very interesting solution has been made by some of the people there back in New York. You have a look what it does. I remember still the solution's name was probably Mindware. What it is to do is, in any security establishment, this is basically based on artificial intelligence or whatever, pattern analysis, whatever you say. Any deviance they see, that will be detected. If you are parking the car every day at a particular slot, and if you park it on a particular day in a different slot, it will give a alarm. They said that this has been actually put into place in most of the critical places in the US. And who did it? Not the FBI, not the airport security or the shipping corporations of US or something. It is the industry who developed, and I was very happy that this particular solution, the developers were Indians. The company was run by Israelis and an American, but I was very happy that they came and told us. And it was expensive, obviously. It's quite expensive. So the corporates thought, because you can think in a way, probably I am not able to do that way. You are paid for your thinking and the development. So I am basically an enforcer. So in that particular manner, if I take this way, that how much of things the corporate have done to help the internal security or whatever you call homeland security of India. Now we do have, to the audience, I can say those people who might be following the newspapers, it's okay. And we have a very regular dialogue with the Homeland Security Department, government to government. The Ministry of Home Affairs is the nodal ministry for dialogue on various aspects, whether it is airport security, whether it is counterterrorism, whether it is border management, etc., etc. That is very regularly, it's happening in Delhi as well as in Washington. And we learn a lot of things from them, how systemically they have made changes in their processes, which have given a lot of benefits to us. Now the question is that somebody asked me again in one of the seminars that should we enact a homeland security kind of act here? And in India, there is no dearth of acts and laws. And somebody told me that for actually putting the pencil in this direction, probably there may be an act. So, but the question is that if the act comes, the enforcement should be also that good. Otherwise, there will be a lot of gaps. And the gaps will be taken care of or taken advantage of the criminals. Coming to the information technology being used by the anti-nationals and terrorists, trust me, the Lashkar-e-Toiba, who is the biggest enemy to Indian scenario, who operates from across the border, when we are interviewing or interrogating some of the Lashkar people, including Headley, he said, Lashkar has a IT lab on the top of a hill. It is made up of makeshift structures. And inside that, there are more than 200 computers. And a particular person who joins Lashkar is given training in IT. We can apply for that. So this being their commitment, and they use IT so well. We are probably not using the IT that way, how they are using it. Of course, that is the black side of it. We are talking about the white side of it. Now, how do we actually deal with this? As a policeman, and working in National Investigation Agency, I will limit my things to the investigation. Okay, investigation is extremely important because it is the law enforcement aspect. The law of the land is supreme. And I enforce the law. I investigate. When I investigate, I do have a lot of problems. In one of the cases which recently I did, I had a CPU. The hard disk could not be imaged by various labs in India. I tried for 2 months. Ultimately, I actually gave up. I had to send, with the permission of the government and the court, to a foreign lab to get it analyzed, to take the image and give me the analysis report. And they took 15 days and they sent it to us, back to us. Why did not we do it? Why could not we do it? Now, all the tools which I am using in forensics, rewinding, all these tools are made in Germany or USA, UK and all those. Okay, I don't have any, it has become a global village, so I don't have, I buy it it's very easily available off the shelf. Indian sellers are there. Do you know what is the problem, what will happen? When I actually use that tool, get the things analyzed, make a report, and use that report as evidence in a court, the defense at any point of time can challenge me saying that this particular tool is not capable of doing this. So I have to prove to the court that this tool can do it. That means I should have the source code, which I am not having. No company will give you the source code. So that compelled us some years back for Government of India to institute a project under the Department of Information Technology to develop indigenous tools. Okay, we developed some of the tools, but still then we like the foreign labels, and many of my friends, they use the foreign ones because it's good, it's very versatile and all those. Then second thing is there is a gap in development of the forensics. I call inadequate forensics. Because we are now using, most of you are now using Windows 8. Day before yesterday, a particular system we wanted to analyze in one of the labs. They said, ये तो Windows 8 में है, इसका अभी तक नहीं निकला है forensics. ये नहीं हो सकता है. So Windows 8 has come to the market. But we don't have the forensics to actually, so criminal will do their work, okay, let them develop the tool, then only I will use it. No. The question is, that is the gap where actually your intervention or your cooperation is absolutely required. Then the other point which I wanted to say is that, which is related to you, is how skilled we are in investigating in the digital world or in the cyberspace. Honest to you, we are very poor. Maybe 3, 4, 5, even 1% of the Indian police might be acquired the skill by going and studying or doing some research or whatever. But most of the people are not. In that situation, how do actually you say that IT will be penetrating everybody will have a PC and everybody will have a laptop or whatever. Then the policeman, he doesn't know. You go to a common police station, even an urban police station like Satyendra's, one of the police stations in Delhi. If you ask a sub-inspector, he will say, what do you say? What? Steganography. What is it? ये क्या होता है? So it is not possible, probably, without your help to develop their skills. Because I am a senior police guy, so I can make a call to SAP or to SAS or somebody and get the help. But I'm talking about a sub-inspector who actually looks after the ground situations in his area. He is not skilled. Now you feel frustrated to go to the police station to say that मैं क्या कर सकता है वो. Long back, when I was working with the CBI, myself and Director CBI, we went to Bangalore. That is way back in 2001. And we called all the corporates and told that we require some help. Look, very good thing happened. With the help of the corporate sector, the first cyber crime police station in Bangalore was established. Everything they gave. Not only in terms of resources, the most important thing was they gave training, the hand-holding, everything. So two things I'll request before I stop my speech here. Number one, help the law enforcement agencies. It is not the question of your business. It is your probably social corporate responsibility. Empower them and make them skilled. Once we ensure security, I will actually say the words of the Prime Minister when he addressed these SPs and the DMs. He said, without security, nothing can happen in the society. So if you want the security to be there and safety and security to be there, so please help them in developing the skills, number one. Develop the tools by yourself. You can have most of the thing when I was talking to SAP, I said, when they came and met me, I said that please do one thing. Before you talk anything, first you understand what is a investigation, what is a policing, what is the process. For that you have a domain expert. That domain expert may be an ex-policeman or an ex-IS officer who knows the things. Then you can always put your logics, codes, algorithms, etc. and develop the solutions. So please come forward and help these law enforcement agencies, security or intelligence agencies. It will be a great value. The Americans, they did it. And if you go to, you take whether it is Microsoft, whether it is Oracle and other things, they have done stupendous work for the homeland security. Yeah, and I mean those people, because we are talking about homeland security, you will be always interested to know what is Homeland Security Act and all those things. You read probably it is quite a little bulky, so you will not like to read it. You read the first page of both the acts. You will realize how, and you don't have to read the other parts, how stilly resolved the Americans had to enact these legislations. So somebody was giving a suggestion that all our internal security legislations, there are too many. Should we actually put it together and make it one? It could be, even if it is more, it only has only thing is that you have to change the sections and the acts names in the FIRs or in reports, etc. It is not, probably if you club it, it will look better. And there are deficiencies. Obviously, the deficiencies lawmakers can be always addressed to make the changes. UAPA, there were some deficiency, which the act which is the main act for the counterterrorism in the country. Those deficiencies, some of the deficiencies have been brought in amendments. It has been notified now. So before I end, I thank the organizers for I could get some chance to speak to you not on technology, but also the philosophy behind technology, that if we use the technology should not, it is a great leveler. Technology is a great leveler. So there should not be haves and have-nots in the society. All the persons, if you are bringing an e-governance system covering all the departments to bring transparency, efficiency, etc., then the law enforcement is a very important aspect in governance, and they have also to be addressed. Thank you.